Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Gamesoverplastic. This is episode number 20. I am Midnight. As always, I'm happy to be joined by the two best gaming co-hosts in the world. We have the man, the myth, the legend, the master of all things Weebish, Sean Mason. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Can't wait to talk about some 9 must-play games you have to play.
Yes, sir.
9 games
All
you
right.
must play before you die.
Before you die.
Die.
Last but not least, we have the ginger, the master of graphics, the Bears fan, and the man in the sunny hat. Hodge, how we doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Yeah. So if anyone follows football, you know that I died on the inside last week when the Bears lost to a last-second Hail Mary. But yes, I am sadly a Bears fan. I have put myself through hell my entire life, but I'm still gonna root for him. And Sunny is a great country artist everyone should listen to named Sunny Sweeney. She's very good. But yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk about games you must play before you die.
Yes.
Die.
All right, Halloween's over. I hope everyone enjoyed our Halloween episode. If you didn't, make sure you check out episode 19. It was awesome. We had the Riddler, we had Pickle Midnight, and we had the Sony Pony. It was fantastic. A lot of fun. I watched, Halloween was just the other day as we're recording this, and I watched that movie X, and that movie sucked. Don't watch that movie. It's very lame. But anyway, all right, let's go ahead and get into some games, shall we? Oh, I didn't do the administrative stuff. Gamesoverplastic, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Overcast, Everycast. You can find us. Check us out. Leave us likes. Leave us comments. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We appreciate your support. If you're listening to the audio and you want to see the video version with cameras and graphics, just check the description. There's a link, or go to youtube.com/@gamesoverplastic. All right, boys. Let's go ahead and start with what we are playing, shall we? Let's do that.
Of course.
And based on the sheet that I'm looking at, it looks like I am going to go first. So I'll start it off by saying that I am still playing 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim or whatever. This game is pretty awesome. I am near the end, Sean. I'm like 33 hours, or I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm like 30 some hours in. I'm really close to the end. The story is picking up. It's starting to come together. I don't know if you saw in Discord, but a couple weeks ago, I added you with a theory of what I thought was really going on. And
I didn't see it. Sorry.
Oh my God. I was spot on. I saw this coming about the loops, but anyway, I'm not going to say anything else. So yeah, 13 Sentinels is an awesome game. It's not an RPG really. It's just like a narrative game, kind of almost like a visual novel. But it has like these little combat elements too, where you have to it's like a little, I don't know, like a weird tower defense type game. Not really. You just basically just go out and like blow up little robots, you know. It's cool. But I like this game. If you're a fan of reading, if you're a fan of robots and like weeby stuff, with like some time sci-fi aspects thrown in and some mystery, I think this is something that I would recommend. Which, funny enough, that's what this episode is all about.
I like the disclaimer of if you like reading.
I love reading.
Not everybody wants to read. Like that's the main feature of this game is reading. Like there's not a lot of gameplay.
I played Danganronpa a while ago, and the gameplay was actually the part I didn't like about it. I liked reading the story of it. It's a very cool story. I want to go back and finish the other ones one day, but yeah, I liked it. But it was the gameplay that was actually the bad part of the visual novel.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Maddie Plays Danganronpa. We love Maddie, by the way. We'll just say that. All right. So yeah, Sean, you have any comments or thoughts on 13 Sentinels? Probably not much. We just talked about it last episode.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say, but yeah, it's a great game, and I agree with you. It's much more of a. I think you get much more out of the like the narrative aspect of it than the gameplay aspect. I think the story is phenomenal, and I think it's a must play for visual novel lovers.
Yes, sir. I love it. All right. So let me move on to my next game here, and this is the big game of the week. This is the hot button topic. It's everywhere you look. People are pissed off. People hate this game, and then you got the diehards who are, defending the game. I am playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard, BioWare's latest RPG. I am 5 hours in. So far, I think this game is phenomenal. I really love this game thus far, with the exception of the big elephant in the room, which is all of the forced in LGBT stuff that they kind of throw. And everybody's seen the video clips and the screenshots. I did see that. I got to my base. They got the mirror. They're like, take a look in the mirror and stuff. And it's like, it's set up in a way where it's like you can kind of customize your character a little bit before you really get started. But it also has this one little section on the left where it's like explore transgender options. So if you go into that option, then it has the whole like, establishes a transgender thing, which is kind of lame. I'm not really into that. I don't hate anyone, shout out to them, but I think it's weird to like force stuff down people's throat. But besides that, the game is excellent. The graphics and the environments, they cook. Like, this game is dripping with production, to steal a phrase from Colin. He loves saying that. It really is. Like, the graphics, the voice acting is incredible. The set pieces, the combat is really fluid and fun. I made a human mage, and like, it's fast paced. Like, there's there's two different stances: a spellblade stance where you have like a dagger and you can kind of like shoot little orbs of magic outside of your dagger, and also do like a big sweeping attack, and you can dodge too. There's live dodging, kind of like a Souls game, as you're getting attacked. And like, certain attacks will have like a red cone or a red circle that you have to dodge, and it's really fun. And then you can also bring up the big wheel and order your companions to use abilities. And there's systems like a primer and an ignition system where, like, if you use the right two abilities, it'll do like massive damage or stun them. So that's super cool. And then you also have your own abilities. I got chain lightning now, which is super sweet. I just throw out lightning and it chains, of course, and it does great damage. Dude, the combat is awesome. The story so far, outside of the LGBT stuff, which really hasn't really been a part of the story yet. It was that one option in the mirror. But the story's been awesome. My two favorite Dragon Age characters of all time have already made an appearance. The Dreadwolf Solus, he's awesome. I love him. I'm a huge Solus simp. I love this dude. He's such an awesome, deep, flawed, well-written character. Like, he's the villain, but you also love him at the same time, and you want to like help him, and you want to believe him and trust him, because he's a good dude on the inside. He has his reasons for what he's doing it. And then Morrigan, everyone's favorite gothic witch. Everyone loves Morrigan. Shout out to her. My first Dragon Age waifu, Sean, from Dragon Age Origins. She's in this too, so it's super awesome. So that's what I'm playing there, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So far, I'm really loving it. 5 hours deep, with the one exception of the stuff that I wish they did not include. Self-inflicted wound, because that's now all anyone is talking about. And this game is massively getting hated on, and Hodge fell asleep. Any thoughts, guys?
Yeah, I have a one quick question. You had brought up the character creator, and this has nothing to do with the transgender thing, but I saw some videos of the character creator. It looks like super in depth. Like, you can go like into like, you can make your character look like basically an exact replica of you. And I saw like the physics and like the hair flowing and stuff with like the hair movement. I think that's super cool, and I'm really glad you're enjoying it, because given all the the controversy around it. And it seems like you have like the Avengers cast of the Dragon Age, all your favorite people coming together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. So far, so good. I'm only 5 hours in, like I said. Yeah, the character creator is very deep. I made a dude that looks exactly like me, except not fat. So, like a skinny, like muscular version of me. He's got like the same hair and beard and stuff. Really awesome. But yeah, I saw, shout out to Sensei J Dot in our Discord. He made a character. His character looks awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of options you can do. You can really design the character any way you want. It's really deep. I saw some hideous monstrosities that people were creating, which were quite hilarious. Also, too, shout out to the PC Master Race, because I'm playing this game on PC. And because come on, guys, just spend over $2,000 on a PC. It's not that hard. That's what I did. Because I spent over $2,000 on this PC, I'm able to play in 4K, max ray tracing, ultra settings, and I'm getting 120 frames a second now. This game did crash on me 3 times, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. It crashed on me 3 times, but I found out that I didn't have the latest driver. I thought I had the latest driver because I opened up the NVIDIA experience, but I didn't realize that I have the latest studio driver. I had to change a setting to game ready driver, and then there was a newer driver which specifically had Dragon Age the Veilguard on it, like on the cover, like so it's optimized for this game. And I installed this one, and I've played about an hour or 2 hours since then, and it's been flawless. So hopefully it won't crash anymore. But no, it's looking and running great, except for those 3 crashes. But we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. I know I'm the only one that's really into this game. All right, Hodge, I don't think you have anything to say about the Veilguard. I'll keep it moving.
I'm happy you're enjoying it.
Thank you, sir. I am so far. All right, let's go ahead and get into my next game, which I think this is something that Hodge will be able to chime in on. I am playing the biggest multimedia drop of the year, Black Ops 6, Call of Duty, of course, Black Ops 6. I have been playing this a bit. I have been playing with my boy Debo, as always, my friend that I've been playing Call of Duty with for over a decade now. Met him in the Modern Warfare 3 days when I was doing YouTube. And we play all the time, and it's a lot of fun. It's very sweaty because, like I've said in the past, he's like a 4KD player in previous CODs, I should say, because nobody has a 4KD nowadays with the matchmaking. But yeah, like, so we're in like ultra sweat lobbies. Like these dudes are sliding around like sniffing Adderall and G Fuel and stuff. Like it's insane. It's very stressful at times, but I have enjoyed it at times too. There's been several matches where I'm like, oh man, I had a lot of fun. I think this is a good game at its foundation. The gunplay feels great. The streaks are pretty fun. I like the perks. I think everything looks pretty good. My only complaint, and I'll keep it brief because I've said it before, is just the matchmaking makes it something that I don't want to play for super long sessions. Because like we'll be in super high spirits. Like we'll hop into Discord or party or whatever, and we'll be laughing and joking and chopping it up. But then after about an hour and a half of playing and just absolutely just having to sweat your ass off and getting shit on by people sliding all over the map and diving, eventually it gets real quiet and we're like barely talking at all. And we're just like burnt out. And I don't know if you guys have that experience at all, but yeah, Black Ops 6, I have not played any of the zombies or the campaign. So unfortunately, I don't have anything to add on those. Maybe my co-host will. But yeah, Black Ops 6, I like it. I think it's good. It's on Game Pass. If you're not sold on it yet and you don't want to drop $70, if you have the Game Pass, you can try it out. That's what I'm doing. So there you go. Hodge, or Sean, actually, real quick. Do you have any Black Ops thoughts before I pass it to Hodge?
Claire is loving it. My wife Claire, she's absolutely adoring. Her and her friends have been playing like crazy. Like I got a text from Claire yesterday. She had to work a double yesterday, and she asked me if I could hop on and play with her friends because she wanted me to get some XP for her, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, she's absolutely loving it. She has played the zombies mode. She says the zombie mode is fun. It's not her favorite iteration of zombies. Her favorite one, I think, was from Black Ops 3, I think. I don't really know, but she said it's not her favorite one, but she's enjoying it. Says the guns are like really awesome. The gameplay is like awesome. She loves the Omni movement and the multiplayer. She says it's like fantastic. She says they nailed it. So yeah, that's her thoughts, not mine.
Hodge, your thoughts, and you get into your stuff, man.
Yeah, so obviously I've been playing Black Ops as well. It is the best Call of Duty I've played since back in the mid-aughts when it was Modern Warfare, World at War, Black Ops, like that era of Call of Duty. I guess it was late aughts, early 10s. But it's the most fun I've been having with the Call of Duty in a long time. I fell off of Call of Duty for a long time. I played Infinite Warfare because it came with COD 4 and I fucking hated it. And then I played Modern Warfare 2019, which was good, but I did fall off of it eventually. So yeah, and I played Cold War a lot. I actually when it launched, mostly because I wanted a Series X launch game. So I bought Cold War, and I actually really liked it, which makes sense why I like Black Ops 6 since they're the same developer. But yeah, the multiplayer, like you said, you'll have games where it's like, yeah, you go 40 and 10, and then you have games where you go 22 and like 30. You're like, fuck. And so you kind of the swap of it's sweats versus kind of casuals lobby kind of thing. But my only complaint with the skills, the score streaks, is like a UAV takes like 6 kills to get because it's points based instead of kill based, like in the old ones. But it's also nice because that gives it. You don't have the people who have a helicopter every single life because they're coming back and getting their 7 kills and getting their helicopter. It's a little more balanced. So, and you can use objectives or assists or whatever to get points for your score streak. So it's a lot of fun. I did play the zombies, both maps that they have. They're both fun. There's one that's like an open town. That one's a lot of fun. The other one is all right. It's not as fun, but it's definitely the best zombies I've played in a long time since like the OG Black Ops games, when like the one where you play as the presidents or Fidel Castro or whatever it was, that one Cold War one, or Nazi zombies.
When you're in the
you're in the Pentagon or whatever. Yeah.
Pentagon.
Yeah, that one was fun. And then there's the then obviously the old theater and the original. Just you're in that like bunker kind of during World War II when they actually were Nazi zombies. So it's a lot of fun. I do miss when it was a little less complicated because having to go around like turn on the power and you get the boosts from the vending machines. Like I don't like it as much as the original, but it is a lot better than what it turned into. Because the last zombies mode that I played, I hated it. I thought it was absolute trash. So this one's been a lot of fun, but I've mostly been playing multiplayer because that's just what me and my friends want to do. And zombies is only up to 4 players, where you can obviously have 6 on a squad in multiplayer. So don't want to exclude anyone from playing with us. So, but I didn't touch the campaign. I don't really care, if I'm being honest. I didn't like the Cold War. I fell off of it about 3 hours in. I don't like shooters that have hub worlds. It's just not for me. But the multiplayer is enough it's going to keep me around for a while. It's a lot of fun. The Omni movement is really good. It's not as good as Helldivers is because you have to be sprinting to dive out of the way. Whereas in Helldivers, you just dive if you need to get out of the way of something. So it's a little less fluid, but it is obviously it's Call of Duty. There's sweaty people who are going around fucking ADD and everywhere and just slaughtering everyone. So that's never going to change. So that was happening before Omni movement too. So I don't think it affected it very much, but yeah, overall it's a great game. I'm really liking it. Like you said, it's on Game Pass for anyone who wants it. I think Xbox said they've had I think it was the most Game Pass subscribers ever in like a day or something like that, even more than Starfield. And it's being played by everyone. So it's obviously a huge hit. I think this is kind of the return to form of Call of Duty, whereas when it was annual releases and everyone's kind of like they got it by default just because that's what came out that year. But it seems like this is one that actually had excitement behind it and got people back into Call of Duty. So I think it's a pretty huge hit, and I'm happy it's doing that. So yeah, it's a very fun game. I'm enjoying my time with it.
Real quick, couple things that you sparked my memory when you were going eloquently talking about your experience. You mentioned a couple things. The score streaks. Yeah, I forgot to mention the helicopter. I have gotten a couple helicopters. That thing sucks. Like I've gotten 4 helicopters. I think I've gotten like 2 kills out of it combined. Like it barely ever gets any kills.
But when the enemy has it, they get 30.
Score. Yeah. Somehow when the enemy has it, your teammates will just run out there and be like, "Oh, shoot me, please." Yeah. But yeah, and a tip if you guys are trying to get score streaks, I found this out on YouTube or something. If you run the triple green loadout, you get like that extra perk where you get extra score for playing the objective. Run that and then play kill confirmed. Every tag that you get a bonus 100 score plus. So the kill's 100 plus the tag is 100. So that's 200 score per kill. So you can actually get your score streaks pretty quick if you just play kind of smart and pick up those tags. So tips and tricks there for you. And lastly, I'll just say I hate the omnidirectional movement personally. I think it's awesome what they did. I mean, it's a beautiful system, but I hate what it's done to the game. It's just created this level of chaos and unpredictability. You want your shooters to be predictable. This movement makes it very unpredictable because they can just go any fucking direction super quick. And I don't like that. But anyways, I'm sorry. Hodge, back to you, sir.
No, you're right. I mean, I think it's also just the fact that we're older than when these other games came out that we just can't keep up with the ADD children of today who have to be constantly moving. Like there's the joke that in the corner of every video you need that like that mobile game of someone dodging traffic or whatever to like keep the intrigue. Like the fact it seems like this world is so the attention span drops so quickly that games need to make faster and faster and faster, which is like it's why people, not to talk about Fortnite, but when it first came out there was no movement in the game, so you just had to try and get away from the storm, whereas now you can just fucking fly across the map in half a second. It's just like you ruin it by adding that much speed to the game because it just becomes this Adderall fueled game rather than just a fun game. So I understand that aspect of it, but I think it also was the fact that we're older and our skills are atrophying.
Definitely old, no doubt about that.
But yeah, overall,
it's
a fantastic game. No, you're good.
You guys are talking about kill streaks. Do they still have the AC 130 as a kill streak?
No, they have a chopper gunner, but I don't think they have the AC 130 anymore.
The only reason why I remember this is because was that Modern Warfare 2 at AC 130?
It was, yeah. And 3.
Yeah. Well, I just remember when I was in middle school, 8th grade, I think it must have been 8th grade because it was Modern Warfare 2. This kid used to just randomly yell all the time, "Enemy AC 130 above!" And he would yell it all the time walking down the halls. That's my big memory with it.
The thing I always yelled out from the OG Modern Warfare was just if someone threw a stun grenade, the terrorist side of the teams, he'd go "Fragra stun granada," and I'd always yell at people.
Call of Duty used to have like such good voice acting. If you guys remember World at War, like they had Kiefer Sutherland, they had all these people, and they were going in on the voice acting, dude. It was so good.
I forgot
announcers and stuff. It was so good. Yeah, but shout out to them.
That's awesome. Yeah, but unless we have anything else to say, the other game I've been playing is Alan Wake 2. I rebeat it via the final draft, which I'm not going to spoil anything about it, but it does actually change a good amount of the story, which I did not expect from a new game plus, since it's an optional thing, but it adds to the story, which I didn't expect. So it's really cool that it's because I don't want to spoil the game, but there's a moment where they say it's not a loop, it's a spiral. So it's to say that it's not looping, it's spiraling. So it does change as it loops. That's all I'll say about that. It's not really a spoiler. It's just kind of to show that shit changes. But so the final draft, they do change some stuff, but I was playing it for that, which is awesome. I won't go into that anymore. But also the DLC came out, the Lake House DLC, and I loved it. You play as a control agent instead of one of the characters from Alan Wake, and you're in this control Bureau of Control building that's on Cauldron Lake. And obviously some shit goes sideways, and there's some spirits you have to fight and stuff, and it adds a new weapon and a new villain type, and it was really cool. It was a very scary, actually, DLC. Granted, the original game's scary as well. I just wasn't as scared the second time because I knew the beats. But yeah, it was a really cool story. It kind of expanded on what's happening at the lake and what's happening in Bright Falls. And yeah, it was a fantastic DLC, and anyone who's a fan of that series should definitely check it out. I don't have really too much else to say because it's only a couple hours long, so I don't want to spoil any story beats about it, but just kind of that was the generic of what it is. So it was, yeah, fantastic DLC.
Right on. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Still, of course. And I'll just echo once I've said what I've said before, that I am going to play this game one day, and I can't wait to when I finally play this to talk about it with you. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Sean, if you have any thoughts about that, and then get into your game, sir.
All right, so I have been playing this game called Visions of Mana, and I am absolutely adoring it. It's my first Mana game. This is a big blind spot for me in the JRPG series, especially because it comes from Square. I am absolutely loving this game. The game starts out right away, and the story is like super simple. So it's not like an over explanation, like this big complicated story. Basically, what you are is you have a party, and like the main leader of the party, his name is Val, and he's basically an escort for his best friend from growing up. Her name is Hina, and she was chosen to be the one to sacrifice her body Sorry for the motorcycle. Sacrifice her body.
He's excited about Visions of Mana.
Yeah, he is. He's very excited. To sacrifice herself for the Tree of Mana, which is like it gives life to the universe and gives life to the people. So she is basically you're on a pilgrimage with her, and you're there to guide her to sacrifice herself. It's really cool. It reminds me of Final Fantasy X. If you know that, if for those who are listening who know that story, it's very much similar to that, where it's a pilgrimage where someone's trying to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of the world. On the way there, though, you encounter some other people to join your party, and I am absolutely loving this cast of characters. It's a wide range. No one is like too similar. You have a lot of side quests that will dive deeper. Each party member has like a sub series of side quests where you learn more about them and learn more about their motives and actions. I don't want to get into any of that because that spoils a lot. But overall, like the game is so much fun just running around the world and hearing the banter between the party. You learn a lot about the characters. What really stands out to me is the class system in this game. The class system is outstanding. There's like so many different unique classes, and each character also has a unique ability for each class. So, for example, let's say that one of the classes it revolves around like lightning power. So there's five main party members. Each character will have a unique ability for that class that no other character can have, but you can all be that class. It's pretty cool. And if you master that class, you can use that unique ability in any other class. So you use that ability over and over again. It's really cool. It's like an action RPG for those who don't know. It's not turn-based, so it's you have a regular attack button, a special attack button, but you're trying to build up combos to unleash a synergy move where your whole team it goes into like a cinematic and your whole team does kind of like a synergy attack. It's really cool. You get these ability seeds that you can equip on the fly when you're in combat, so you can change your class like that on the fly, and that's really cool. There is a huge twist that kind of takes a dark turn. Like the story starts off very whimsical and very like, oh, we're on an adventure, and there's a huge twist that makes it turn like that, and it goes from like really up to like really, oh my gosh, this is heavy now. I'm about 25 hours in. From what I've read, it takes about 60 hours to like complete everything. That includes like all the side quests and stuff. It's probably going to take me a little longer just because I'm a little bit longer, but I am digging it. I can't stop thinking about it when I'm at work, and it's like all I've wanted to play, and I'm so glad I decided to pick this up. And I didn't realize this is like the first new Mana game in like 25 years. Everything else that's been released has been like a reboot or like a remake. So I'm like excited to go back and play some of the older ones. But yeah, it's great. There is a humanoid cat person, so I'm sorry, Hodge. I know you're not into those types. It is a guy, though. It is not a girl. It is a guy. It's a humanoid cat person. And he is like the most serious character of the group. Like he's not like, the cat person is usually like the light, whimsical, like lighthearted one. He is the most serious character. His name's Morley, and I actually really like using him in combat. He's actually really good in combat, but he is so serious, like to the point where you'll like. There's like one of the characters is like kind of a jokester, and everyone will laugh at the joke, and the guy will just be like, "That's not funny. We have a mission. We're on a mission now," and it's pretty good. The voice acting is really good too.
That's funny.
Question about that: are you playing English or Japanese?
I've played as both. I've done English and I've gone back and forth. I think the English, they do a great job in the English, but I've preferred to play the Japanese for this because the art style kind of looks like a combination of like a Pixar movie with Studio Ghibli. It's like a kind of a combination. It's weird. It's weird to explain, but it kind of reminds me of like the Breath of the Wild art style too, but a little bit more cartoony. But the Japanese voices are really good, and the English performance is great too. So I've gone back and forth, but I've played more in Japanese.
The reason why I ask is because I saw a clip of the English and that redheaded girl with like that ultra southern accent.
Oh, she has a Texas accent. Yeah, she's a Texas
dude.
Accent.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit awkward. Like, I mean, shout out to her. Yeah. She's doing her thing, but it seemed a bit weird in that fantasy element.
Her
she's like, "Hey,
Karina.
y'all, come on down to the Cracker Barrel."
Yeah, Karina. She's like one of the really funny characters, Karina. Yeah, but she has like a southern Texas accent, and it really stands out because one of the other characters has like a strong English accent, and it's so funny when they interact with each other. Hey, y'all!
I find that so funny that to us it's like, oh, it's a Texas accent, which just feels weird, but it's like the default fantasy accent is just English. It's like, why is that the default fan? I guess it's because of that's kind of where it's based out of, is that fantasy kind of element, medieval stuff. But it's just really funny that it's like that's always the base in fantasy. So when you hear a Texas accent, you're just like, what?
Yeah, it is pretty funny, but it is funny though because when you're playing in English, she's like the only one with the Southern accent. Everyone else is like a normal accent, so it is pretty funny. They either have like an English, like a British, heavy British accent, or just a regular accent. It's cool. I'm liking it. I really recommend it. I can't wait to get back to it.
I think graphically this game is pretty beautiful. I love the use of color. Yeah, like the art style and the colors. It really pops. This is also on my backlog, so maybe one day in 5 years I'll get to it.
Was this the one that they had at the Developer Direct for Xbox?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I remember they had a Squeenix game, but I couldn't remember which one it was though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of the art style, there's been points where I'm like playing it and I just like catch myself just looking around and being like, wow, like it's so like that. It's so colorful and it looks like it's like there's another motorcycle. It looks like it's like it looks like it's like painted, like hand painted. It's so gorgeous.
It's awesome. Cool.
All right. What next, Sean? What else?
All right, I want to just talk about Sparking Zero, Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero real quick again. I did get the platinum. Gameplay wise, like I said, the gameplay is like king. This is so good. It is such a good game to play from a gameplay perspective. But like I said, the story mode is kind of like, not the best. It's kind of more just like, oh, we'll just play the fights. They had a really cool concept with the what if stories, but they kind of just like went halfway with it, didn't go all in with it. For those who have never seen Dragon Ball, though, maybe they'll enjoy it. Maybe they'll enjoy it. But gameplay wise, it's awesome. I love playing tournament mode. Me and my friends actually had a tournament night. Was it one night this past week? We had like a tournament night where we all just played. And we played in the Cell Games Arena. It was so much fun. I loved it. I came in second. I was Perfect Cell, of course, because that's my favorite character. Nice. Of course, the winner was Ultra Instinct Goku. So, of course. But overall, it was a blast. Got the platinum. And it's not one of those games where I'm going to delete like right away. Like I'm going to keep it on my PSN for probably almost forever, maybe. And just have it ready to go because me and my friends have been loving playing it.
Okay. Perfect Cell. Go ahead, Hodge.
With the powers, like when you're playing multiplayer, does it scale like that? Like would Hercule versus Ultra Instinct Goku? Okay. I was going to say, because that would be kind of lame if it's like if you're just picking the strongest character. Like I know in OG Budokai, you just play as Goku and you can transform to Super Saiyan 3 and then you're more powerful. But since I know this game, it's like, isn't a Super Saiyan versus a Goku like a separate character, or do you transform in this game?
Well, it depends. So like there's 17 different Gokus in this game. So like they have like, for example, Goku mid Z, like I would say like the middle of Z. You can be base Goku, middle of Z, but you can transform into Super Saiyan, or you can just start the fight as Super Saiyan. You just picked it. But if you transform into Super Saiyan, all his abilities change. So for example, like regular Goku, his like mid Z, his like super finishing move, it's called, is a Spirit Bomb. But if he goes Super Saiyan, he doesn't do Spirit Bomb. Remember, he doesn't do Spirit Bomb in Super Saiyan. He does Super Dragon Fist. Which is kind of cool. And like like Ultra Instinct Goku, his like super finishing move is, I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's some type of Kamehameha though. But like if you do like if you play as Goku base Goku Super, he can transform into all of that. He can do Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct Goku. Like he can do all those transformations.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, that's why there's like 17 different Gokus. And like 18 different Vegetas.
Yeah, that was always like my one complaint with those games is it's like just have the one character and he can transform. Like I don't need 10 Trunkses in the game. Like,
yeah, Future Trunks is awesome though in the game too. You have you can play Future Trunks with the sword, and Future Trunks without the sword.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice, cool. What about your other game? Unless,
all right. So For my other game, I have been playing Astro Bot again. I kind of dropped off of it because I had a little bit of real life stuff going on. Um, so we had to deal with that, and then I kind of wanted to just play like a platform. Like I only had when you only have like 30-40 minutes, I'm like I just throw on a platformer. I've been playing that, and I'm just reminded how much I love platformers with this game and how much of a great job Team Asobi did with this. Like I said, it feels like a Nintendo game. Like it feels like a very, very polished Mario game. Some of these, just like the level design is awesome. I've been diving into those speedrun levels too that they just released, and it's so much fun to do. Like I love just running through and just trying to beat it, and then you like die near the end and you're like, oh my gosh, and then when you finish it's like, oh, I want to get a better time, and it's very just like addicting to just keep playing. Also, shout out to like those, I don't want to spoil any of them, but shout out to those special levels at the end of each galaxy where you get to basically transform Astrobot into like a specific like costume, and you get to like go through, and they're all themed after Sony things. It's so much fun. I adore the game. Like it's so good. Like like I said, it feels like a Nintendo game.
Yeah, those levels, it is probably the most polished platform I've ever played. It is a fantastic game. But those levels, I'm not going to spoil them either, are the highlight of that game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hodge, the third one, where do you remember the third one? The third level where you transform into a character? It's like after the third world. It's after the octopus world.
I'm not sure.
No, it's after the snake. Oh, well, if you look it up. You have a gun. That's all I'll say is you have a gun.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Then yeah.
That one's awesome. That one's by far my favorite one. I love it.
That one is. I think that one was my favorite as well. It was a good one. But
also, if you want to farm coins, it's a good level to farm coins on.
You have a gun. You turn into Master Chief.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you turn into Master Chief, and then Doom Guy comes out of nowhere.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then Marcus Phoenix.
Yep, I was about to say Marcus Phoenix comes down. It's crazy.
And then Phil Spencer shows up and says, "Every Xbox game coming to PlayStation, boys." All right.
Day one. Exactly.
Day one.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
Eventually
Sean?
that'll happen.
Yeah, it's great. I'm loving it.
Yes, sir. Are you satisfied with your games?
I am always satisfied with my games.
Oh, yeah. All right. So that's what we've been playing, everyone. Some great games, great lists, a lot of fun. We love video games. That's why we're here. All right. Let's go ahead and move on into the next topic. And this is going to be the write-in section of the show. And today we have a twofer for you here. Two quick questions, two quick write-ins. First of all, we have our boy, Broderick Fleming. He writes in and he says, got a little question for Hodge. Rank the best Remedy song moments between the Anderson Farm and Alan Wake 1, Ashtray Maze and Control, and Herald of Darkness / Dark Ocean Summoning in Alan Wake 2. And why is Herald of Darkness number 1? Also, as a special note, when the next episode drops, aka right now, I could very well be in the hospital with my wife as she prepares for our daughter to be born. Woo!
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, shout out. I just want to say shout out to Broderick. When I remember when he told me that him and his wife were expecting a baby, I was so happy for him because he's such a fighter. He's such a trooper. He's gone through so much, and I just love seeing how much better he's doing and how much he's improved in his life. And he's such a good guy. So shout out to him.
Awesome. Yeah.
Shout out to him. Happy, healthy delivery and everything. And just congratulations. We love you, man. That's awesome. Hodge.
Yeah.
Take it away, sir.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations. But for the question, I'm going to have to say Herald of Darkness is number 1. He is correct there. And then I'd go Ashtray Maze, Dark Ocean Summoning, and then Anderson Farm. They're all amazing. They're all awesome moments. Remedy knocks it out of the park in every single one of the games with the musical segment. And for you guys who haven't played them before, you will get to enjoy those. Have either of you played Control? I know you haven't played Alan Wake, but have you played? Oh, no. Before you play Alan Wake 2, honestly, play Control.
Okay. So should I do Alan Wake 1, then Control?
Yeah, and then Alan Wake 2.
I do want to say shout out to Monster Pontes, aka Ricky. He sent me this long text. It was awesome because he started playing Control. He's like, "Oh, I'm starting Control tonight." I'm like, "Oh, let me know what you think." And he sent me like this novel text, and he's like, "I am so sorry for sending you this, but it was all about how much he's loving Control and how much I need to play it." So shout out to him.
Honestly, while Alan Wake is my favorite Remedy kind of series, Control is their best game. It is, the gameplay is amazing in that game. The story is a little out there, as opposed to Alan Wake. You can kind of follow it a little easier than Control. But the reason why I say you should play Control before is, one, it has a DLC that leads into Alan Wake 2 because they are a connected universe. And two, the Bureau of Control is in the second game. So to learn who they are, you should probably play Control. You don't have to. It's not necessary. You can hop into Alan Wake 2 without playing Control. I'm just saying Control is such a good game that it's worth it to play it first. It's an unbelievable game. And the Ashtray Maze section, which he's talking about, is it was the best video game moment of my entire life until I played Alan Wake 2 and had that one. So yeah, those are amazing. Thank you for that question. I love reliving all those moments because, as people know, I am quite obsessed with Remedy and their games. So
yes, sir. All right. Good stuff. And then moving on to our second question, we have from our boy Chris from Australia in the Discord. Everyone loves Chris, the weeb, the big what's that One Piece, super One Piece fan.
He loves One Piece.
He loves One Piece. So yeah, he writes in and asks, cold pizza, A or nay? What say you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm good for cold pizza. I haven't had it in a long time. When I was a kid, I used to, like, oh my god, high school, coming home from track practice. Oh my gosh, opening that fridge, seeing a piece of cold pizza, grabbing it, and being like, "Yep, this is my snack. I used to do that all the time with leftovers. Like, I remember coming home from school in middle school, I used to just grab, like, we'd have like leftover like steak or leftover steak tips, and I'd have just cold steak tips, and my mom would be like, "You want like a real snack?" I go, "This is a real snack." I was never one of those like kids who like was like into like the goldfish and like gushers and all that stuff. I was like, just give me some leftover dinner. There's my snack. I was one of those kids who moved. I moved a lot. I moved around a lot, so I ran around a lot. I was a very active kid.
I was too. I didn't actually inflate until about middle school. I was a really skinny kid up until middle school. Because I was a very active ADHD type child back before ADHD existed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had it. I'm pretty sure I have it.
Yeah, it was just you. It was back then. It was just you're hyper. That's all it was. They didn't have a medical term. I think I did have one friend who had ADD, and everyone thought it was like crazy. Like, oh, he's on drugs for ADD, and it's like that's every kid. Oh, did you?
I was diagnosed as a kid. I had to take Ritalin when I was a kid for a while. Yeah, because I had ADHD or ADD. So it did exist, but it was niche.
It was, yeah. Now it's like every single kid who has slight energy. They're like, he has ADD. Give him drugs.
Give him drugs. Sedate him.
Yeah, it's like we don't need to do that for everyone because I know I had it because I get distracted very easily. But yeah, I enjoy cold pizza, but the people out there who say they like it more than warm pizza. You're lying. I don't care. It's like the people who say they like Diet Coke better than Coke. You're lying. You're just trying to convince yourself of it because it's bad and you thought it was healthier and it's not. Well, that's Coke, but cold pizza, it's fine. But me being from Chicago, I get the best of the best pizza, and I'm not going to eat that cold. I'm going to eat that fresh from one of the many restaurants in the area. So warm pizza is better, but yeah, if you like cold pizza, that's fine. It's just not better. Don't pretend it is.
I think Sean actually nailed it. Sean nailed it. I think he solved the mystery because he said the key word. The key word with cold pizza is snack. That's what Sean said. And he's right. If I want a snack, cold pizza is a snack. You grab one slice. That's it. Just one. You grab it out of the fridge. You eat it. It's a snack. If you want a meal or if you're hungry, you heat it up. You have real pizza. What I like to do with my leftover pizza, I will occasionally, if I want a snack, I'll just grab a slice and I'll eat it cold and it's delicious. But like I said, normally what I'll do though, when I want something more substantial is I'll throw that bitch in the air fryer, put it on there for 350 for about 5-6 minutes. Oh, it's delicious. Dude, it's as good the second day as it was the first day, maybe even better when you air fry it up. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how to use an air fryer the first time I used it, so I put it in for like 15 like you would in an oven, and it came out fucking black. I was just like, oh, shit. I guess that's not how you cook it.
He held it up. He held it up, and it just crumbled in his hand.
Yeah, like I have done that where I've forgotten about. It was usually when I was in college when I was drunk, but I'd forget about a pizza, and then I'd go and it'd just be black. You take it out, and it's just crumbling. You're like, oh, damn it! I ruined a pizza.
Very sad. Very sad. All right, so I think there you go. Sean Mason solved the whole dilemma. Cold pizza, yes, as a snack. hot pizza when you want a real meal or you're really hungry. There you go.
Yep.
They're both good. We love pizza.
Yes.
All right, boys. Let's go ahead and get into our main topic of discussion. Today, dear listeners, we are going to be giving you 3 game recommendations each, 3 games that you must play, 9 must-play games, if you will, from the Men of Plastic. And we are going to go ahead and start with Sean, and then Midnight, and then Hodge. That's the order. Sean, Midnight, Hodge. We're going to start with number 3. Sean Mason, take it away, my friend.
All right, my number 3 is a great game that I played a couple of years ago. And it is called The Outbound Ghost. The Outbound Ghost. This is a little indie game that if you are a fan of Paper Mario, the original, and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, you are going to love this game. There was some controversy surrounding the game before I get into that right after it was published. On console, it was not running well. There was a lot of like game-breaking glitches and a lot of just like crashes, and the developer ended up getting in a lawsuit with this. I forget. There was basically a lawsuit, and he had to take it off PSN and all the stores. But it's back on now. It's back on as of like 2 weeks ago. And I remember I played it right when it came out. I played it on PC. It is such a great game. Like I said, it's like a paper-based game, just like Paper Mario, and it's a turn-based RPG. In the story, but the story is so good. The writing is phenomenal. It's like some of the characters are so funny, and it basically takes place in a universe where there's like people who are dead as like they're ghosts basically, and you're trying to bring them to like their final resting place. You have to solve before they can pass on. You have to solve like their final like problem. It is such a fun, heartwarming, like lovable story. And there's a really cool concept where the game will flash forward and you'll play like a section, and then you'll go back and you'll like have to like replay another set. It's really hard to explain, but the game is basically non-linear in that I'm not saying it's like open world, but it's like a non-linear game in that you'll play sections and then you'll play another section, and it would have that section like took place before you played the other section. So there's a lot of flashbacks. It's a really fun game. It's not like a wicked difficult game either. The gameplay is very fun, and there is some DLC planned, and he does have plans for a sequel game. But yeah, The Outbound Ghost, it's a fun little cozy game. I played it a few years ago. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of side content too, like a lot of optional bosses. So like I said, if you like Paper Mario turn-based combat, you'll love it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it looks really cute, and really, I like that art style a lot. It reminds me of
So
Tinykin,
good.
actually, because you're a flat character in a 3D world. And
Yeah,
which
it's like Paper
obviously
Mario.
which Paper Mario does too. So I love that art style. With it being about ghosts, I might check it out next Halloween season, spooky season. Play a ghost game.
How I heard about it was I was at PAX East, and the guy who the person who created it was like an individual creator. He created the whole game by himself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it took him years, but he was at PAX East and he was promoting it, and I went over there and I just like played he had like a 10-minute demo of it. I was like, this is insane. Like, how is this not getting like so much praise? And I just fell in love with it, and it was awesome.
Nice. That's awesome.
All right. Good stuff, Sean. All right, man. Bring in the obscure picks. I had never even heard of this. I did look at some screenshots, and it looks beautiful. I love the art style. I love the little ghosts. Cool stuff. Maybe I will also join Hodge next Halloween. Maybe we'll both play that, and we'll report back to you. So.
Yeah, and it's not a long game. It's not a long game at all. It's like maybe
Nice.
10 hours. Maybe 10 hours.
Music to my ears.
All right. So moving on to my pick for number 3, I'm also going to keep the theme alive. We're going to go with a smaller, lesser known kind of indie title. My game is going to be Mass Effect. So Mass Effect. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So my recommendation, my number 3, is going to be a spin-off game of the Yakuza franchise from Ryu Ga Gotoku RGG Studio, known as Judgment. I might have mentioned this once on the podcast before, I don't remember, but definitely something that I haven't brought up too often, and I think this game is really, really underrated. Really good. If you're a fan of the Yakuza series, or just in general, you kind of want to get into that world maybe, this is an awesome game because you don't have to know anything about Yakuza games at all. It's completely separate. I don't think the Yakuza people make an appearance like at all that I can remember. Like if so, it's super minor. It's its own thing. So you play as a former attorney. Uh, you play as a former attorney. He had like a murder case that went awry, and he won the case, but then something bad happened with the guy that he got off. So he's plagued by demons from that. So he ends up quitting his job as an attorney, and he starts working as like a private eye, a private detective. So you're playing as a private detective in Kamurocho, which is the same city that a lot of the Yakuza takes place in, like Tokyo. And you are like trying to solve this case, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper. At first, it seems like a pretty basic story, but as you unravel the layers, it gets crazy, and it eventually kind of ties back to the protagonist Yagami's past. The combat in this game is super fun, fast paced, beat 'em up, really cool. The characters are fantastic, and the voice acting is fantastic. This game is in English, by the way, guys. So you don't have to read subtitles. You don't have to listen to Japanese if you don't want. The English acting, they killed it. It's fantastic. You can just listen to the English dub. The graphics are great. The combat is great. There's fun mini games like where you got to trail people, but not in an annoying way. Like it never annoyed me. Like sometimes in Assassin's Creed, like when you're doing the trailing missions, it can get boring and annoying, but these ones were kind of fun the way they implemented it. And they got some other ones where you have to like solve mysteries and like find the clues and stuff, but it was never in an annoying way. I'm not a puzzle guy. So if it was annoying puzzles, I would not be recommending it. They did a great job. I really recommend Judgment. There's also a sequel called Lost Judgment. So if you enjoy Judgment, you can play the sequel. It also was very good, but I do prefer the first one. So that's my pick, Judgment. If you want to be a private eye, former lawyer, beat up some thugs, solve a mystery, and maybe save your past self from the pain, check out Judgment from RGG Studio. Any thoughts on this, boys? Probably not.
All I remember about this game was I follow Shill up because I think his reviews are really good, and his This Week in Gaming segment, which everyone should check out. That's a good one. But he reviewed this, and I remember he gave it kind of an okay rating. He didn't even say it was bad. He just said it was just all right, and he got so much hate from the Yakuza fan community that he's just like, why did I do this? Like, why did I review this game? That's all I remember about that game. It looked cool though. It's the typical Japanese, very goofy side missions, but it's also kind of a serious story kind of thing. So yeah, it looked cool.
Yeah, it does. Just like Yakuza, they do have the real goofy side missions, but the story is super intense and like deep and adult and real. So, Sean, any thoughts? Judgment.
I had no idea. I thought this was like part of the mainline series.
It's a spinoff.
All right, well, that's pretty cool to know.
Yeah.
All right. Hodge, you're up next with your number 3, sir.
Yeah, my number 3, I'll go with a game that was developed by Geometric Interactive and published by Annapurna. It's a game called Cocoon. It came out, it was either last year or the year before. I can't remember already. Yeah, it was 2023, so it came out last year. It was just this little indie game. It's from the guy who designed Inside and Limbo. They at Playdead, they split up and they both formed their own studios. The other guy did, I can't remember what it's called. It's that alien invasion game, Somerville, I believe. Yeah. And I liked that one, but this one was way better. You play as basically you're just this little rodent, or not rodent, little insect looking guy, and you pick up orbs which are used to power things in the level, but they're also used to they're also their own world that you transfer into. And so it becomes this puzzle game and they're all different. They have different worlds / different powers. So you have to figure out which little bubble thing you have to put into which thing to start, and then eventually it gets so in depth that you bring orbs into other orbs to do it, and so you're just carrying these orbs around trying to get each little thing into, and it's just this insane puzzle game. I was proud of myself for never having to use a guide because it's very complex, but it's an amazing game, and everyone knows I'm an indie whore, so I loved this game. I recommend it to everyone. I think I 100% it. I can't remember, but yeah, it's just this amazing little indie game that everyone should check out, especially if you liked Inside, Limbo, and those Playdead games. You will love this game a lot. So it's like a top-down Zelda look too. It's not the
Yeah.
side-scrolling like Inside and Limbo but yeah, it's an amazing game and everyone should definitely check it out.
Okay. Very cool. Never played that one. Heard of it though. It's awesome. Sean?
Yeah, I've been meaning to check this game out for a long time. I know the content creator group MinMax, they had this as like one of their top games of 2023. I think it was in their top 5, like as their consensus game, and I think a couple of the people on the panel had it as their number 1. So I've been like waiting to check this out for a while. It looks so good, and like I bought it day one. I said never played it. I'm like, just me buying games day one without playing them. Definitely. How long is it, Hodge?
I think I beat it in one day. I think it's only like a 5 or 6 hour game or something. It's a really short game. Let me see. Game length. Oops, not Game Pass. It is on Game Pass, but that's not what I was trying to search. Yeah, 5 to 6.5 hours is what it's shown as. So yeah, it was a really short game, but it's a really cool puzzle. And of course, with it being indie, it has a big in-depth kind of meaning behind it. But yeah, it's fantastic. Everyone should play it.
All right.
Yeah, Sean, what's your number 2, baby?
All right, my number 2. My number 2 is Rogue Legacy 2. I love Rogue Legacy. Rogue Legacy 1 was like the first Rogue game I played. Rogue, whatever. I get them confused. A Rogue game or a Rogue-like or whatever it is. But that was the first like Rogue game I played, and Rogue Legacy 2 lived up to the expectations, lived up to my high expectations, and it was even better, I think. For those who don't know, Rogue Legacy, you play as a knight, and you get to go out and you like when you die, you come back and you have to choose between like 3 classes, and like each one has like perks, but they also have like they have like perks like, oh, this one has more HP, but this one can, only take 1 hit and it will die. This one gets to save more gold when they die, but they take they don't have any magic, stuff like that. So like there's like classes like dwarf, like you'd be like dwarf and you're tiny but you can jump really high, or you can be like the heavy hitter and you're this giant buff guy walking around, but you like walk at a snail's pace and like you can barely jump. And the whole idea is just you're trying to like go through the castle and trying to defeat these 4 main bosses, like core bosses, and then you come back and there's like a final boss. Rogue Legacy 2 is so good. They take everything from the first one and make it even better. There's like a hub. There's like your home world where every time you die, you spawn and you're back in like the home world where you can upgrade your character. Like you can do upgrades. You can upgrade your mana. You can get one-time use perks that like you can use for like that run only. And then if you die, you obviously lose it. And while you're in the castle too, like you can find these like diary entries of like, you're supposed to be like your ancestors who also died trying to go through the castle, and they're pretty funny. They're written pretty funny. Overall, it's just a fun game, and what I loved about Rogue Legacy 2 is that you can like feel yourself getting better. Like you're struggling to get through like this one area, and then you finally get through it, and then on your next run, you just get through it like that, and you're like, oh wow, I'm like, I can't believe I was struggling this. Like 30 runs ago, I couldn't even get through this. Now I'm just like, this is easy, casual stuff. One of the trophies is getting through the game without upgrading your character, which is awesome. And I did it, and I felt so accomplished because some of those bosses are ridiculous, like to the point where I didn't think I could beat the game. And then when you, like I said, when you get it, there's so much satisfaction when you actually do it. Rogue Legacy 2 is awesome. It's overall it's just a great game. I highly suggest it. It's really open for like, if you don't like Rogue games, I would suggest, if you wanted to try one, either Rogue Legacy 1. I would even say just jump into 2, because I think 2 is a little bit more accessible, and I think it's a little bit more fun, and I think it's better on the eyes. But yeah, Rogue Legacy 2, great game. Any thoughts?
I've never played these. I was just looking at it while you're talking about it, though, and it looks pretty much right up my alley if it's that side-scrolling roguelike type game. Or is it a roguelike? Or I can't.
I don't know if it's a roguelike or a rogue like. I don't know the difference. So
okay,
I just call it a rogue game. Just call it a roguelike.
Is basically, it means that the enemies change every time you die. I don't know if it was set enemies.
No, the whole castle outlook changes every time you spawn back in. The whole like it's like randomly generated, the way the castle is like laid out, which is really cool. And there's different areas though. Like you go to different areas, and each different area has is strong. One there's like a designed way you're supposed to do it. Like this area first, like that.
Oh, okay.
And they're all like different. but you can do them in any order you like, and the enemies come back every time you die. Like the enemies come back in the castle. So like some of the times you go on a run and you'll be like, I'm just gonna try to get as much gold as possible. So then you die. But the thing is, when you die, when you go back in the castle, you lose all your gold. So it's either you spend it all or you lose it.
So it is basically a rogue, because that's what you do in Hades too. You collect gold as you go through, but you have to spend it at the shop as you're going through to power yourself up. It's not something you bring back to the castle with you. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I just looked it up too. It does say it's a roguelike, so that's sweet. I might have to check that one out sometime.
It's great.
All right. Good stuff. Yeah, I haven't played this either. I've never really gotten into like roguelike games or Metroidvania type games or anything like that. I've just never really given it a shot. But who knows? Maybe I would like it. But let me go ahead and get into my number 2 pick here. And this is going to be a JRPG, believe it or not, Sean. But I am going to go with Final Fantasy 13 Part 2 is going to be my recommend game because I really, really, really loved this game. Final Fantasy 13 Part 1, I did play that one, and I didn't love that game much. Many people were critical of Part 1 for being like a hallway simulator because the maps were just like pretty much a straight line. There wasn't much exploration or anything like that. So the devs heard people's feedback, and when they came out with 13.2, the little zones, it's not open world by any means, but the zones had a lot more branching paths and like exploration areas, bigger zones. In this game, you play as Lightning's sister, Sarah. And I think the story, without going into too many spoilers, is she's actually trying to save Lightning or help Lightning. So that's pretty cool. There's like a time travel element mixed in. Dude, it was just awesome. The combat was really fun. The voice acting and story was amazing. I love in this game, they had kind of like a Pokemon element where like you had to like capture and monsters or whatever, and then they would kind of fight or help you out along the way, which I thought was really cool. I just really enjoyed this game. I think it's a sleeper hit. I think it's underrated. A lot of people kind of write off the 13 trilogy as trash because the first one was so mixed reviewed. But Part 2, I think, is a phenomenal game, and I will recommend that to anyone. So that's my number 2 pick, Final Fantasy 13 Part 2. Hodge and Sean, any thoughts?
I approve of this pick. I'm a 13 trilogy defender. I remember getting in like a verbal argument with one of my sister's friends when 13 came out because he was a big Final Fantasy fan as well. And he like hated 13 when it came out. Me and him got it together when it came out at like midnight. We went to a midnight release and we both got it. And he like, I remember talking to him because he was a senior. No, he was a junior when I was in 8th grade. And he used to come over. He lived on our street. So I used to like talk to him all the time. And I'd be like, hey, what'd you think of 13? And a couple days later, he'd be like, oh, I hate it. It's awful. I can't stand. I'm like, and I used to get in so many arguments with him. I love 13. I think 13 is great. I think 13.2 is great too. And I think Lightning Return's good too. The thing about 13.2 though is Sarah as a character, I like her, but I like Lightning better. The gameplay is better in 13.2, but I think the story of 13 is better.
Okay. Did 13.2 bring your friend back, or was he still a hater?
No, he didn't even play. He has not touched the 13 franchise.
Okay. Listen, tell your friend that if he's still your friend even, that he needs to listen to my segment here on this game and he needs to go play it, because 13.2, I was the same way. I was hating on 13. I was like, this is trash. It's a hallway simulator. I don't like this. But 13.2, they crushed it. And I do agree that I don't think Sarah's as cool of a character, but I did still like her. And the fact that her whole story is like you're trying to save her, help Lightning, it all tied together, and I loved it.
Did you ever play Lightning Returns?
I did. I beat that one too. That one was cool as well. And that was like a change of pace because that was like more of an action game kind of, wasn't it?
So different. It was so different, yeah.
It was good too. Yeah. Hodge, take it away with your pick. And, if you have bars for Final Fantasy, drop them too.
No, at this point in my life, I had fallen off of Final Fantasy when these ones came out because I just was over turn-based games. Because Kingdom Hearts had come out and I loved the action RPG because it was more fluid. It just felt better to play. And so when these ones came out, I just didn't care anymore. But what I do remember about Final Fantasy 13 was when Versus 13 was announced, and I was so excited because that was an action RPG like Kingdom Hearts. and then it got delayed for 100,000 years and came out as Final Fantasy 15 instead, and it was a giant, colossal disappointment.
No, that game came out on Xbox as Lost Odyssey. That's what I heard. I haven't played it. That's what I heard, though.
That's Final Fantasy X. It's Lost Odyssey is like Final Fantasy X, not 13 not versus 13.
Oh, okay. All right, my bad.
No, Versus 13 turned into Final Fantasy 15, and it came out
slash Kingdom Hearts 3 with Yozora.
Yeah, and it came out much later. But yeah, so that's really, I don't have much experience with 13. I remember my brother; he's played every single Final Fantasy game, and he loves. I'm pretty sure he loved 13 too. He was always huge on 7, 8, 10, and 13 too. Were the ones I remember him liking a lot.
So good.
But I'm sure he played like 6 and 9 and all the older ones as well. But those are the ones I remember him really liking. But yeah, I don't have any experience with the 13 series. So I'll just move on to my number 2, which is a game that was developed and produced by Ember Labs. It's their first game that they've made, and that is Kenna Bridge of Spirits. This one actually just came out on Xbox in August, so I want to buy it and play it again. Even though I own it on PS5, I don't care. I want to play it again on Xbox. And this game, so if anyone who doesn't know, Ember Labs used to be animators who made commercials. They made this CGI trailer about a Legend of Zelda once, actually, which I remember everyone was about what's his name? The mask kid. Wears the weird looking mask. Skull Kid. They made an animated short about him, and everyone loved it. And so this is their first game, and it's a Souls-like game, but the cutscenes, it straight up looks like a DreamWorks movie because these guys were animators before they made this. So the animation in this game is unbelievable. I love this game so much. It's also a platformer in a sense, but it's like a PS2 level platformer where it's not overcomplicated. It's just kind of solve this little puzzle, build a bridge, and go across it. Like, they're very simplistic puzzles, but the gameplay and the graphics and the story are all amazing. And I want to get back to it on Xbox, but this game, I loved it when it came out. It was genuinely like my favorite PS5 game for a long time until I think probably Astro Bot unseated it as my favorite PS5 game because just everything else that came out. Most games were on PS4 as well. They weren't just PS5 games, so I couldn't call them all PS5 games. But this game, I adore it so much. So it's probably my second favorite PS5 game, and it's a game everyone should check out on PS5 or Xbox, wherever you want to play it. It's fantastic. What do you think, Midnight, before we move on to Sean?
Right on, yeah. So I think this is an awesome pick that I have not played, but it's funny enough, I have in the last couple days, this is a game that has been on my mind. I've thought about playing Kenna Bridge of Spirits in the last couple days, and I think I'm going to play it sometime soon. It's only like a 10-hour game, I believe. I know it's gorgeous and it'll look great on the OLED. I can't wait for that. So this is a game, I think it's going to be one of my short palate cleansers. I might actually, when I finish Dragon Age, the Veilguard, I want to have a little palate cleanser before I move into the next big game. It might be Kenna Bridge of Spirits. So stay tuned, folks. I might have something to say about this in the near future. Sean, give us some thoughts on Kenna and then give us your number 1.
So Kenna Bridge of Spirits, it's funny. I did enjoy this game. I didn't enjoy it as much as other people. I know other people thought this was like the greatest game ever and the best game of 2021. It's going to sound bad, but the way I described it is this is a better version of Tak and the Power of Juju. Hodge, you remember that game?
I've never played it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's a PS2 2D, not 2D, PS2 era platformer game, and I think Kenna is very much like a PS2 era platformer. I think the combat's much better, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it is like the bee's knees, wow, that's really weird. I don't think it's the bee's knees over there, 90-year-old woman over here. And I think the art style is good, but I think I don't know. I think it was just I think my expectations were too high going in for it, I think.
Okay. But you don't have an OLED either, do you? You got to get an OLED, man. Gotta get an OLED. It changes everything.
I agree.
When I hit the 16-team parlay, I'll get it. Okay.
Yes, sir. What's your number one, Sean?
All
Let's
right,
hear it.
my number one, hang on one second, is this little 2018 game called Crosscode. Now, this is a very interesting game. I instantly saw this game on PSN back in, I think it was 20. I came to PlayStation, I think 2020, and I scooped it up immediately because I had heard so many good things about it on PC. And this is like an RPG slash puzzle game that takes place in a fake MMO universe where you control a character who is actually stuck in the MMO. Like, she is not a playable human. Like, you interact with a bunch of other people, and they're all real. They're all people who are like from the real life, like the Earth in the game Earth, and they're playing the MMO. But you are an actual person in the MMO, and they think you're a real, like you're an actual person, and like you make friends with them and stuff. And it's really cool because there's so many diverse areas, and you're running through this world, and you're trying to figure out why you are in this world where you're not a human, but you're like playing as like a playable character. And you don't have any memory of what happened prior. And you have these like random flashbacks, like these flash memories of the person who created your character, and they're one of the people who helped create the game. And there's like this overarching like thing about how the game is like supposed to be like really bad, and it's really cool because there's like old school RPG elements where you have to upgrade your character with upgrade points, but then there's also like the market where you buy stuff, and there's side quests. Story is really good, and it's so funny though because it's like there's such like if you ever played in Midnight, you'd probably get it because there's a lot of MMO references. Like, oh, we're gonna join this clan guild, and it's like, oh, we're gonna join this, and I was like, oh, you have to go through this trial if you want to join our clan. You gotta bring us this item. It's just so funny, and then you end up making friends, and it's a really interesting concept. And some of the puzzle design though, it gets so complicated when you get into certain dungeons. Some of the side quests are a little fetch questy, but some of them are like really deep, and you get to know more about your party members. In terms of like the terrain and like the vastness of the areas, you have like a really snowy area, and then next thing you know, you'll be in like a dense tropical forest. It's really cool, and it's like I think the developer did a really good job at making it feel like you're in an MMO world where there's so many. The world is like big in the world, but it's not too big for you to explore. But it's just like in the real world, like you can get through across the map in like 30 minutes, but in game it feels like it's like hours. It's a really cool game. It's a really cool concept. It's called Crosscode.
All right. Yeah, I think that looks pretty cool and sounds cool. Maybe one day I'll get to that. I do remember seeing this main character in this logo. Definitely something I've seen and heard of before, just haven't played it. Hodge, you have thoughts on that?
I've never heard of this game, but I'm looking at it, and the art looks, or the world looks cool. It looks like that kind of old school Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo kind of world.
Yeah.
But I knew instantly that this was not a Japanese game, just not that it was marketed as it, but because it has that off anime where it looks like an American drew an anime character, where it just doesn't look like it was made by a Japanese, because Japanese anime artists are some of the best in the world, and you can always tell when it's someone trying to do anime instead of who is an anime artist. So I was getting thrown off by that. So other than that art style of the characters, it does look cool. I just can't get over the when it's like you can tell it's like the Tumblr person trying to draw anime thinking they're drawing anime, but it looks like an American version of anime. I know these people are German. I looked it up, but I knew it wasn't Japanese, and that kind of threw me off. But other than that, it looks
this game,
cool.
and it was crowdfunded, so just throwing that out there too. Yeah, it was a crowdfunded game.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it looks cool.
Great pick. Great pick, my friend. All right, let's go ahead and get into my number one pick. And we're also getting off anime here because this is going to be a Western game. My number one pick is a game from Quantic Dream. We talked about them last week when I brought up Beyond Two Souls. This one is going to be, in my opinion, their best game. And I'm talking about Detroit Become Human. This is an awesome narrative-based game where you play as 3 different characters. And their stories kind of merge and come together, and you make a lot of choices. The story is awesome. It takes place in a futuristic Detroit where there's like androids and AI and stuff going on, and there's this whole drama about the rights of the androids and how should they be treated. Should they be servants of the humans, or should they be treated better? Should they be free? Stuff like that. You got there's Connor. He's like the police android. He's there to deal with the deviants, which is the androids who have broken free of their code and become rogue and sometimes even can harm humans. Then you have Kara. She's the android, the hot android. She's there to rescue the little girl, which is awesome. And then you have the Marcus, I think his name was, and he's also an android. So they're all androids. It's just awesome, dude. It's a great story. Graphically, it's really good. It's on the PlayStation 5. I don't know if it's on other platforms, to be honest with you. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, it's there. But I recommend this game. If you're a fan, it's on PC? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, get it on PC then. But yeah, if you are a fan of narrative games, if you like making choices, and if you like seeing like the spider web of what happens with those choices, this game is very replayable. The ending that I got was completely different than the one my brother got. I watched him play. This is also a great co-op game. It's a good game to play with your friends, your loved ones, because you can sit down on the couch together and make these choices together and see what happens. You know what I mean? See where the story goes. So that's my pick. Number 1, Detroit Become Human. Shout out David Cage. Shout out Quantic Dream. Awesome game. I recommend it. Any thoughts, Sean?
Yeah, I was gonna play this, and then I watched iRobot, and I was all set. Not kidding. Okay. I did know. I remember when they announced this. I did think iRobot immediately. I was like, "Whoa, this is like iRobot." But I do want to get to this. I was so intrigued with it. I think it's a really cool idea and a really cool. I'm so intrigued with like AI universe for like robots have like their own like robots / androids have like their own like being, and they eventually become smarter than the people who made them. I think it's a really cool concept. So I do want to get to this, and having just played Until Dawn and actually liking it, where it's like a more of a narrative choice based, where it's not really a gameplay game. I'm kind of in the mood for another one, so maybe I'll do this one.
You'll like it. You'll like it. Hodge?
Yeah, this is one that's been on. It's been in my backlog for so long. I did get it for free via the PS Plus at one point, so I do own it. I've been meaning because I love Heavy Rain. I think that game is fantastic. So I've always wanted to play this one. I just never got around to it, and I do need to add this to my list to get to it soon because the actress you're thinking of who plays Kara is Valerie Curry. She's gorgeous. But she was also in the newest season of The Boys. I didn't watch it because I'm over The Boys, but she was in this show. I always thought she's beautiful, obviously, but I always thought she was so weird because she played a cult member in a show called The Following, where she was like a psycho. So I always thought of her as that. So seeing her as like this just normal kind of main character, it's just like is throwing me off because she played such a great psycho in this one TV show. But yeah, I do want to play this game, and I should get to it sooner than later because I like I said, I played through Heavy Rain multiple times because it's another game. The endings don't change as much as probably this one does because it's kind of one of those things where it's like the reveal is always the reveal in Heavy Rain, and it's just more of like who lives, who dies kind of thing. But kind of like Until Dawn. But yeah, I do need to play this one. It looks sweet. But yeah, my number 1 though, moving on, is a game developed by Acid Nerve and published by Devolver, which is a fantastic publisher. I would be surprised if Sean hasn't played this game, but maybe not. Is a game called Death's Door. It's
such a good game.
A good game. I had a feeling you played this one because it's like a Zelda-like, Souls-like game, and it's just this amazing top. You play as a crow who's basically collecting souls for the underworld, and it's amazing. I don't know. It's an amazing. I did not expect to like this game because Souls-likes aren't really my type, even though it's more of Zelda-like than Souls-like. But I did not expect to love it as much as I did. But I was obsessed with this, and I remember I actually beat it right before flying out to go to Richmond for an LSM event. I got the 100% right as I was getting ready to go to the airport. And so it was on my mind that entire weekend when we were there. And yeah, I adore this game, and I think everyone should play it. I don't know if it's on any of the subscription services. It was on Game Pass for a while because that's where I played it. but it's
If
great.
you, to that topic there, if you are an Amazon Prime member, this game is free right now on Games with Prime on PC. So if you have a
Oh,
PC and you game on there, if you go on the Amazon Games with Prime website or whatever, they give away like 15 games a month, 20 games a month. Dev Store is free right now, so you could get it on there if you wanted.
oh yeah. If you have
I
Prime,
redeemed it.
yeah, redeem that game. It's so good. It's fantastic, and yeah, everyone should play it. How'd you like it, Sean, when you
This
played through it?
Oh my gosh, this game was so good. This was in my top 4 for my 2021 games. Like this was this reminded me of it looks like it almost was like Tunic for me. Like, you remember the game? Remember Tunic? It was
Mhm,
almost
the
like that,
Fox.
but I think this is, yeah, with the Fox, but I think like this came out right around the same time as that. And these two games were just like the perfect like Zelda-like games where it's like the top down, but then the combat was like a little bit more difficult than like not a little bit, much more difficult than a Zelda game. And that's like the unique environments of just running around in this bleak universe. Like, you're trying to like help people who are like dead. It's such a crazy game, and there's like an achievement slash trophy for playing the game with the umbrella, like just going
Yeah,
through getting the umbrella and beating the game with the umbrella and using that.
which
um
is the weakest of the swords.
yeah, the game is so cool, especially after I remember after you beat like a specific, like you go through one of the doors, you beat that area and you come back and like you see the things that have changed in that hub area in the world. It is such a fascinating game. Like, I don't even know how to explain. It's such a strange game, but it's so good. It is. I
Hmm.
that's all I can say. It's strange, but it's so good,
Yeah.
and it's addicting. It is very addicting.
Oh yeah, I was into it when I was playing it. I loved this game. So yeah, I wanted to shout it out because when I was doing my top 3, I kind of just went through my achievements and trophy lists just to kind of see what games I had beaten and haven't talked too much about here. Because obviously, anyone who listens, I'm going to recommend Alan Wake 2. I'm going to recommend Blops. I'm going to recommend all these games that we've talked about 1,000 times. But I wanted to do 3 games that I beat, and when I beat them, I loved them. I just haven't talked too much about them, so that's why I went with Cocoon, Death's Door, and Kenna, because they're games that are just so underappreciated. And I mean, that's most indies, but Death's Door, actually, I remember that was critically beloved when it came out, but it just fell off
Yeah,
everyone's radar pretty quickly. I don't know why, and it's such a good game, which is why I wanted to save it for number 1, because I think of these 3 games, that's one I recommend more than anything. And yeah, so everyone should play Death's Door.
and when you find out like the final, like the final true ending, it's like, oh
Mm,
my gosh, it's
yeah.
crazy when you get the true ending. Like, you actually
Yeah.
find out what's going on. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it's fantastic.
All
Yeah.
right. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So there you have it, guys. That is our list. For the audio listeners here, breakdown. Sean had The Outbound Ghost, Rogue Legacy 2, and Crosscode. I had Judgment, Final Fantasy 13 2, and Detroit Become Human. And Hodge had Cocoon, Kena Bridge of Spirits, or Kenna, and Death's Door. Great games. 9 must-play games. Check them out, guys. Play them. Add them to your backlog. Add them to your list. Get Death's Door on Amazon Prime right now. It's free. All right, guys. So that is going to do it for us. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Some awesome games. Games are awesome. We love them. Sean, what are your final thoughts here for episode number 20?
We had a we had a great list of games here. Those 9 games are awesome. We dove into some really deep cuts. Definitely. Like, I'm just looking at like me and Hodge's list, for example. Like, we had like some pretty crazy, some insane, like just these indie games that like no one might have known about. Like, I think the most prominent game I had was Rogue Legacy 2, and that was like, that's like not like a, oh my gosh, this is a must play AAA game. So I don't know. I think this is a great episode. Great job.
Yeah, but I also got to shout out Midnight for having 13 too, because that is such an older game. So usually when people aren't thinking
So
like,
good.
oh, what Xbox 360 game should I play or PS3 game? It's like, yeah, what do I play that came out last year? So it's nice
Yeah.
having that kind of range. I was debating going way further back, but I just decided I'll stick it within the last decade. But
Right on. Yeah. And let us know in the comment section, as always, who had the best list? Who had the best list and why was it me? Let us know in the comments below. And if you have a write-in for episode number 21, please leave it in the comments and we will read your question and answer it perhaps like we did with Broderick and Chris's. Hodge, final thoughts, sir, for episode number 20.
No, I really everyone had great lists, but you reminding me I need to play Detroit is nice because I do need to go back and play Detroit Become Human. I've always wanted to. It just fell off the radar because, well, also it came out on PS4 in the era when PS4 had every good game ever made. So, so it just kind of fell through the cracks because of that. And I do need to go back and play that. But yeah, love video games, love talking games. Can't believe we've already done 20 episodes. Well, technically, we've probably done 25 because we did 5 DLCs, I think, on top of that. So, love doing this every other week or every week when we get the chance, and everyone should play good games.
Absolutely, yeah. I know for a fact that you guys will both love Detroit Become Human because you know, like myself, we're all fans of those narrative choice based, like choose your own adventure type games, like Until Dawn and stuff like that. So I almost said another one, but I'm saving that for the future. Another one I almost recommended, but my final thoughts, guys, are just thank you guys. Episode number 20. We could not do this without you. Kind of a mini milestone, 20 episodes, 40 weeks, guys. It's been great. I'm so happy with our podcast. Could not have chosen a better duo to join me for our trio. Always fun. Everybody have fun. Be great. Hodge, you have something?
One thing before we leave, I didn't want to interrupt your flow, was so before we did an episode with Ben of backlogs and recommendations, we have something special planned for backlogs, which is why we only did recommendations this week. So just look forward to that in the future.
Oh yeah, we have some really awesome stuff planned that I know you listeners are going to enjoy. So like if you enjoyed our Halloween episode, stay tuned because we got some big themed fun episodes coming later that I will not spoil yet, but I'm excited about. It's going to be great. But yeah, that's it. We're going to go and get up out of here. Thank you guys for listening. This has been Games Over Plastic episode number 20. Goodbye.
Bye.
Team X is a Y operation at this point.
What?